Hey YouTube card fighters, this is Grexter with Casual Vanguard, and today we're doing a deck tech on Bermuda Triangle Coral. This deck is going to revolve around the Grade 3 Aurora Star Coral and soul blasting 4 cards on your turn to give all corals on the field +1 crit. Here is pretty much the coral right chain of the deck, the Grade 3, the Grade 2, the Grade 1, and then the starter. So stay with me and I'll explain how the deck works and the cards that are in it. So to get the deck tech started, we'll begin with the Grade 3 staple, Aurora Star Coral. She has 2 Vanguard abilities, a continuous and an activation. Continuous is what we're looking for here, which is to soul blast 4 more this turn, and the original critical of your units with coral gets 2, becomes 2. The activation on the Van, the once per turn, is Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 2, and return a normal unit each from your rear and drop zone to your hand. If you return a card with coral and its card name, this unit gets plus 15k until end of turn. This is going to be a very good combo with the Grade 2 Coral, Shiny Star, because as you'll see when we get to the Grade 2s, her abilities are going to help trigger that Soul Blast 4 to hit off the 2 critical for all corals in their name. So here's the Grade 3, the staple Grade 3 of the deck. Sorry if there's a glare. Our second Grade 3 is Glaring Moon Myra. She is a playset in the deck that I run. She has a Van ability and a Rare ability. The Van ability is when placed, Counter Blast 1, search your deck for Aurora Star Coral, and reveal it, put it to your hand, and then shuffle. And then Rare Guard ability is continuous. During the battle your Aurora Star Coral attacked, your opponent can only call Grade 0 cards from hand. Used to be, in my opinion, a better ability when the Sentinels were Grade 1s, but now that they're draw triggers, not as good. But still, the search ability is good enough to run this in the deck, in my opinion, to make sure that on your second Grade 3 ride, you could get another Aura Store and Force marker. They both are Force, and Force 1 for the power is what I'm looking for, at least in this deck, because of the extra crit possibility to power through and get 2, even 3 crits on a Grade 3 drive, twin drive check to kind of finish game and even hit pretty early for 3 or 4 damage turn 3. So these are the Grade 3s, 8 in total. Next up are the Grade 2s. We run 4 Shiny Star Coral, who goes well with Aurora Star Coral. And being she has an auto ability on the Van and rear that when placed, Soul Charge 1. And if your Vanguard with Coral in its name, Soul Charge 1. And then she has an activation on the rear, once per turn, Soul Blast 2, and this unit gets plus 10k until end of turn. If you have a Vanguard with Coral in its card name, this unit gets plus 5k until end of turn. That rear guard ability goes very well with Aurora Star Coral. Her continues on the Van, that when you Soul Blast a total of 4 or more this turn, the original critical of all your units with Coral in their card name becomes 2. So pretty much if you have Shiny Star Coral on your rear and you were to ride into Grade 3, you could pretty much do the activation ability of Aurora Star Coral, bounce Shiny Star Coral, and then call her back. And in doing this, you could get the Soul Blast of 4. You just have to make sure that you have 4 in the soul, which you should. And then you could hit off the effects of the criticals and the power. So once again, we run 4 of Shiny Star Coral. We follow that up with 3 Riddle Mysteria Levine. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. She gets plus 2 for each face down card in your damage zone, and when an attack hits, if all your cards in the damage zone are face down, Soul Blast 2 any number of times and counter charge 1 for each time. there's not too much counterblast in this deck, but still it's pretty good. And then the +2 obviously could add up pretty quickly, especially with the power combo of force, imaginary gift force, and things like that. The next one is a 3 of Charming Make Pylang. Sorry if I mispronounced that one as well. And when placed, if you have a Vanguard with Coral in its name, counterblast 1 until end of turn. When your opponent would call from hand to guard, he or she must call 2 or more. Pretty good. And once again, like I said, not a lot of counterblasts. So be able to run 3 of her and then making them guard with that extra card, forcing them to do at least 2 is pretty big, especially if we have big hits later on. And then I run 1 Pearl Sister Perla. Pretty much going to have 1 in the deck as it says. And I kind of do it once again for the power and the crit. And why not try it out? You do not have to run this card, but I figured try it out to get some power through the crit. And sometimes you get a good 40, 50K hit in on the rear, which could be a finisher, especially late game. But once again, this is just my choice to run. That is it for the grade 2s. Now for the grade 1s. A big grade 1 is Fresh Store Coral. To me, she is huge in this deck. She plays a big part, not just in support, but getting the soul charged up and making sure that you could get the corals like you need them. So she is a playset. She's 4, and pretty much when she is on Van, when she's placed, if your soul has a card with Coral in its name, draw a card and put a card from your hand into your soul. And then her rare ability, when placed, soul charge 1. If you have Vanguard with Coral in its card name, soul charge 1, and it gets +5K into end of turn. So once again, very good. 8K, get the soul. She's ideal, which you would want in your first ride. So I would definitely try to get her in an opening hand. And this is Fresh Star Coral. The second grade 1 we run is Electro Techno Tico. She is a 4 of playset as well. And what she's going to do when on the rear is counterblast 1, put her into your soul, and 1 of your units with Coral and its core name get +15 until end of turn. So big hit with power. She also helps build up the soul. So a win-win in my opinion, and that is why she is in here. So once again, pretty good card. Then we have a 3 of Mini Sparkle Parum. And when she's on the rear, if you soul blast a total of 2 or more cards this turn, this unit gets +10K. So in the back, she could set up as 18K. Before all the power-ups from Aurora Star and Shiny Star. So once again, very good card, because if she's out there and you're using Aurora Star, she's pretty much guaranteed to hit off and become that 18K boost. Then we have 2 of Equable Career Spiana. And when placed, you may turn a card with the same card name as the grade 3 on your rear or van from your drop zone to your deck. And if you return a card, shuffle and counter charge 1. She pretty much helps you shuffle your corals, kind of keep them going in the deck in case you ever have to run out. Once again, not a big addition, but good enough. You could actually probably drop 1 to run a play set of Mini Sparkle, but I've been going with the 2. And then lastly, the 1 of course, the sister to Perla, and that's Pearl Sister Pearl. You may only have 1 once again, and if you have Pearl Sister, they do the combo play. So with the critical. So obviously, this is the setup you would want for them. And once again, not really needed. I just added it for fun, try to test it out. And so far, I haven't been able to hit it off because it's kind of a good bit of luck to get both of them and trying to get what we're doing, especially with trying to get the grade 2 Shiny Star Coral out as well. But I run one, and once again, easily replaceable if you need be. And that is the grade 1s. Now for the grade 0s, the starter is Angelic Star Coral. There really is no other starter to run in this deck, in my opinion. It is a Coral deck after all, and the main reason is your grade 1, that first of all, when you ride, you draw a card, and then her ability that when placed, if your soul has a card with Coral and its card name, draw a card and put a card from your hand into your soul. So that is why Angelic Star Coral is in here. It's a Coral deck, and then the ability from the grade 1. Next, the triggers is going to be 8 critical, 4, actually one got hidden, 4 draws of the Sentinels, and then 4 heals. And with that, that is the Coral deck. I was a big fan of Corals in the original series. And so obviously when this one came out, when this set came out and the Corals deck was reintroduced, I picked it up. It was a little pricey, but well worth it. Brought back a lot of memories, and it's pretty fun to play. And I actually think I might like it better than the original one. So here's an overview of everything in the deck. As I was going through the deck and preparing for this video, I was kind of thinking about some of the cards I run and what might be better. So keep an eye out for probably an update video. These videos are unscripted and about having fun and going over decks. So I might make some changes after some gameplay and update it on here. Until then, keep card fighting. This is Gregsta with Casual Vanguard. I'll talk to you later.